Hi, it's Anne. Thanks for stopping by. So as this video goes out, it is early in the morning on Christmas Eve, 2024. And I have no idea if anybody is possibly going to watch any craft videos on Christmas Eve. But in case you are, maybe you're crafting, maybe you're done with all of your holiday prep. But tonight is Christmas Eve. Hanukkah begins tomorrow night. There's just a whole lot that's going on. But I wanted to do a little project, and one that you just don't have to think about very much, because you might be pretty tired. I know I am. Not that we have a big no holds barred fancy Christmas, but we do have people over, and if we're inclined to do some crafting in those moments of solitude that we have, at least for me, I don't want to have to think too hard. But what else do we have generally during the holiday season around our place? We have wrapping paper, and it is torn, and it is ripped, and it is crumpled. And we just want to generally get it all out of the way. And I thought, what if we could sort of save some of that paper, but do it in a way that, doesn't put a lot of pressure on us to do, thinking and putting a lot of emotional and intellectual energy towards a project when we're just sort of tired. So anyway, what we're going to do today, if you are going to have wrapping paper around your place, I'm going to encourage you to save it, but not do anything specific with it right away, but to do enough so that you will actually be prepping it for a future project. I don't know if that makes sense, but I took some of my wrapping paper, and I just wrapped a couple of games that we already had, just for demonstration purposes. And I gave the boxes to Dan, and I said, open these, pretend you're really excited on Christmas Eve and just open these. So he did, and he usually is a little more meticulous and more of a paper saving kind of guy. But there's all kinds in a family. I said, just get after it, And so he did, and he did a lot of ripping. I'd like to demonstrate to you a way that you can save some of the papers around your house if you have those coming up. First of all, if you have big pieces of paper, of wrapping paper, smooth them out, even if they have wrinkles in them, and save them for covering your work surface. These pieces aren't really big enough for that, because the boxes that I gave Dan to unwrap were kind of small. But this one might be something that I could save to cover my work surface if I was doing a mixed media project, or doing some gesso, doing something sticky. Save the big pieces, like, from a big box. Smooth them out. I would not iron them unless I was certain that I didn't have any tape on it. See, there's tape on this, and your iron is going to melt that in a heartbeat. If they're not big enough, or you don't want to save for covering your work surface to actually do work on, get out some of your junk mail. And we're not going to make a project. We're just going to cover some of the junk mail with some of this wrapping paper. And we're going to actually be, sort of creating a little mini masterboard and saving it for later. And I just want to show you how you don't have to put any thought into this at all. These little birds, I don't have anything with birds. And I'm just going to get out my glue stick and a piece of junk mail. You could use envelopes or Christmas cards that you might be getting rid of, unless you're going to harvest their motifs for other projects. But I'm just going to save this paper, and I'm going to trim it off. And I'll be using it for something else at some point. little. I don't care if it overlaps onto itself. I could do contrast if I have a whole bunch of other flavors of paper, or I can just have this. I'll trim it up, it'll look nice. And I'll save it for, I can make tags out of it next year. I'm just going to store it someplace nice and flat. There we go. And this can be just a nice little thing we can cut up and use later. And makes us feel good about saving some of this paper. You can tell there is no thought going into this, friends. Absolutely none. Because frankly, you probably have been working really hard if if you're having family over, if you're going somewhere. You've put a lot of thought into your holiday already. Maybe it's an emotionally exhausting time. It is for many. Be easy on yourself. Don't work too hard. But you can still be a good junk journaler. And you don't have to go too nuts on saving everything. I don't save every little bit. And truthfully, I haven't done this before. This is the first year that it's really occurred to me to plan to use my wrapping paper for junk journal projects. I have saved it to rewrap things, and that's another good purpose. To use again as wrapping paper, if you don't want to use it for your for protecting a work surface. There we go. No thought. I mean, literally, there were almost zero thoughts going through my mind as I was making this. And then I just have a little mini masterboard. Not really even a masterboard. I mean, I guess you could call it that if you were doing true collaging, but I was just doing patch, patch, patch on this. And I'm not going to feel like doing anything like this or anything with this, but I'll put it with my Christmas supplies, my holiday supplies. And next year, I'll pull this out. There we go. Guess what? I'm going to throw these little bits away. It can be done. That can be done. And this is just a little something. I can cut this, the patchy parts, are hardly noticeable at all. I can cut tags out of this, and I can put some sort of focal point on it next year. I could make gift tags out of it. I could make it, put something on the inside, fold it here, and make it into a little booklet. Could cover things up a little bit more. It looks like I'm not showing through. That might even be on the wrapping paper itself. I think I am going to put a patch there. So it can just go in with those Christmas supplies. You could cut it into a belly band. It can be all kinds of interesting you know, be just an interesting little background for something. So again, this is not really a project. This is just an idea of what to do with some of those scraps of paper. Now, this can work really well for something other than just a holiday type project too. We use a lot of wrapping paper in our house that is this bird-related gift wrap paper, because we have a huge roll of this bird paper, and everybody in the family just knows that, you know, when you get a gift from the Kenlans, you probably get something on this bird paper. This was all crumpled up. It smooths out really nice, and I could use this any time of year. But if I save it now, I'm much more likely to use it in the future. I guess that's the point of what I'm talking about here, is to just do a little bit of a prep. You don't even have to get to the gluing. You know, save it and smooth it out. And when you're ready, you can get out that glue stick and you can do just a little bit of crafting and then save it for a time when you have some more energy. Rather than throwing it away, rather than having it be in that recycle bin on the curb after the holiday. Well, and there we go. Again, it's just an easy way to use some of these things. So let me get this patched up here and get this little base done. I'm not worried about that little bit of tape in there. I'm not worried about anything at all, quite frankly. A little bit to patch, but this is going to store really nicely. And then I've got a project almost ready to happen, because this isn't a holiday specific piece. It's something that I could use all through the summer. And I don't need to get out my inks, because, you know, you don't really, you know, there's lots of things, you know, I would stamp and such, but I'm just not doing that today. I'm just gluing. And there we go. It goes in a stack. It saved that little bit of paper. And I have fun remembering it. There we go. Easy, easy, easy. Put them in a stack, use them later. Give them absolutely no more thought than that. Let's look at a couple of the other things that are probably in your near future if you are in the gift-giving season. I saw this idea on Christy, Crafted by Christy. She is just a really fun fun crafter to watch, and I'll do the link to this video. But she had a video the other day where she took like the tape that you, like if you're breaking down boxes and you know pull the the packing tape off. She had a really fun video about ways to use some of that. And she put it, she applied, because when you pull that tape off, it pulls off a lot generally of the fibers on the cardboard box that it's on. And there's just some interesting potential there. She did a lot of interesting stamped backgrounds, but I'm in a mode where I don't want to do any extra work or give any extra thought to anything right now. So I just pulled out a book page. And this is off of a packing box that was in our garage, but a lot of them come through our lives this time of year. Usually, when I'm breaking down a box, I throw this stuff away, and it just never occurred to me that this could be a fun craft supply. So I'm putting this on a book page, And the little bit that's translucent and the little bit that's clear is going to show through. And this is something that could be, you know, you could cut that part off and it could be a fun side tuck. I'm going to do another one right next to it. And then I have a little bit left over that I'll use. And again, I'm only gluing today. I'm not giving any thought to what's going to happen next. I'm just saving this for later. Christy had a really good idea, I thought, for a small bit like this, putting it on a tab on the side of a page. Wouldn't that be cute? And you really, I like this one because it says Oregon on it. And how cute would that be, especially like on a really grungy journal, to put it on the side of a page and have it be a tab, or have it be on the top of a pocket as a pull. Something like that would be cute. I'd want something where I had a lot more contrast on it, like like this. That'd be cute. Just trim down a little bit as a pull, but on as a page tab, I think it would be super, super cute. Great idea of Christie's. Anyway, this is something I can, I could cut. It could be a pocket. It could be a belly band. I could do more grunging up. I could put some more focal points on it, but I'm not going to do any of that now. I'm going to set it aside and save it for later. What are some other things that you could come across? Well, there's lots of ribbon that come on our packages, right? The first thing we want to do is, if it's a bow that can be reused, good heavens, reuse it. Save that baby for next year, because that's going to look, really nice. But if it's bits and pieces of ribbon, something, maybe something like this that's sitting around. It doesn't have to be this kind of ribbon, obviously, but I love curling ribbon. I have a lot of it in the house. Thus, there's always a lot of it on my living room carpet after the holidays, or when the festivities have died down, because it's just something I wrap a lot with. What if I took some of that and I curled it and I used it as a tag topper, like that? I can just put it in with some of my I vowed I wasn't actually going to do any projects this time, because, we don't want to be thinking too hard right now. But I can keep this because I think that would be, and I'm holding it here just so you can see that it would be super cute, especially combined with different colors. And it doesn't have to be Christmassy. If you have red, if you have green, you can combine those with other colors, and they can be part of, if you're journaling, or you have a journal for somebody's anniversary or birthday or something that's really festive. How nice would any kind of ribbon be on the top of a tag? Speaking of tags, there may be a lot of tags, and I've talked about this just recently. There may be a lot of tags coming into your house over the days to come. Save those, and then, we'll cover them, and they make really, really good inserts into our journals. So that's something that, tell your cleanup crew, save anything paper, and then let you go through it before it actually goes out into the recycling bin. And I think that was it. It seemed to me I had something. Oh yeah, I had this. The little to from tags. This is, I made these earlier in the season, actually, and went to them when I was actually wrapping my gifts and putting them under the tree. But things like this are going to be hanging around afterwards, and generally we toss them. But, if it's something like this, I could just paste some new paper on top of this and have that for next year. Or I could use it as a little journaling spot. I could cover it over, or I could just use the top part to journal about what is it that Grandma gave Barney? You know, I could put this in a journal if I'm journaling about, you know, Barney and I learning, you know, playing chess together. Actually, Barney's 8. He's teaching me how to play chess. I think it'd be fun to have a little bit of journaling about that, and to put this into the journal that I will have for the coming year about, you know, fun adventures that my grandson and I are having together. So think about how you can reuse those gift tags too, either to reuse them for their original purpose or to transform them into something junk journaly. It's possible to transform almost anything, as we can see from, you know, this packing tape. You don't have to decide now what you're going to do with these things, but you can prep them by setting them aside, you know, having them, you know, having them in your craft bin to, you know, to turn to when you feel inspired later, or just pasting them down on some junk mail and prepping them for later use. This, I think, would be super cute. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and fold it right now. And what a cute little booklet this would be. Just a piece of junk mail, pretty up the edges, put something on the inside, stitch a little signature in there, and you have a really, really cute little mini journal cover that's done. And otherwise, it was a crumpled up piece of wrapping paper that was headed out the door. I hope this gives you some ideas, and I hope that your holiday is just wonderful. And keep an eye out for the things that can become craft supplies in your very near future. We'll see you soon, guys. Bye-bye.